Welcome, beautiful Paris Saint-Germain family. Some exciting news as the Ballon d'Or points tally just dropped. I think it's only for the top 10, but the points just dropped, and we're gonna be looking at it in an exciting way. In 10th spot, Nuno Mendes with 171 points, followed by Gianluigi Donnarumma with 172 points. Only a 1 point difference. I think Nuno Mendes should be higher than Donna, could be higher, especially with that Nations League final man of the match performance. I mean, it was one of the best fullback performances I've ever seen. Obviously, the modern game has pushed fullbacks into, being more impactful in games. But when you look at Nuno Mendes' talent, at his athleticism, at his pace, at his physicality, I don't know if you've ever seen a fullback that complete as Nuno Mendes, both going forward and defending. Donnarumma with 172 points. It's fair. The best goalkeeper in the world, was absolutely huge for Paris Saint-Germain in the UEFA Champions League last season. We all remember that Arsenal game. We all remember the Aston Villa towards the end. And the Liverpool man of the match at Anfield, saving those penalties is definitely... I've already said it. I think that Liverpool game is my second favorite Paris Saint-Germain game ever, after the battle at the bridge versus Chelsea FC. Next up is Cole Palmer with a little bit of a distance with 211 points. Again, Cole Palmer should not have been in the top 10. I like that the people are rating Club World Cup. I like that the voters are rating the Club World Cup. But that's too much PR. It's too much PR. And the thing with Cole Palmer as well, he didn't even have a great campaign. He more had a great final. He was good overall in the tournament, but he definitely peaked in that Club World Cup final versus Paris Saint-Germain. I understand an insane performance like that. 2 goals, 1 assist against Paris Saint-Germain, the Champions League holders, is a big thing. Moving on from him, we have Kylian Mbappe with once again a big distance in points with 378 points to Kylian Mbappe. That's a lot of points to Kylian Mbappe. Should he have been top 10? I think Nuno Mendes had a better season. I think Gianluigi Donnarumma had a better season. I think Pedri had a better season than Kylian Mbappe. Yes, he won the Golden Boot, but when it mattered in the big games, he was absolutely stinky. Yes, he did recover in the latter El Clasicos, but in the first one, the first one always matters the most for the morale for the rest of the season. And Mbappe was absolutely woeful. He wasn't even that good in the Nations League game versus Spain as well. Another game where Mbappe could have been impactful. And obviously in the Club World Cup, he was decent. And then when it came to the Paris Saint-Germain game, he dropped a generational stinker. Next up is Achraf Hakimi, another player that I thought could have been higher. We'll come to the player that I think he should have been higher, or at least above. 484 points, a little bit of a gap between Achraf Hakimi and Kylian Mbappe in 6th and 7th spot. Achraf Hakimi, once again, one of the best fullback seasons I've seen. Once again, the modern game is different than back in the day, but he had like 28 GA in all competitions, which is absolutely insane for a fullback. That's more GA than Rodrigo. That's more GA than Luis Diaz, I think. That's more GA than Phil Foden. He scored in the Champions League quarterfinal, Champions League semifinal, Champions League final, Coupe de France. I mean, what is it that Achraf Hakimi didn't do? He had, I think, 9 GA in the UCL last season, more than Lmaine Yamal with 8. So Achraf Hakimi, think should have been higher, but I'm happy with that spot. Rafinha in 5th spot with 620 points. A little bit of a gap between him and Achraf Hakimi there. Once again, Rafinha, I think he should have been higher. I think he should have been above Yamal. I think it should have been Rafinha instead of Yamal. And I said this before, I think Barca deserved the 2nd spot and a 5th spot, or at least should have gotten one. And it should have been Rafinha in the 2nd spot competing with Dembélé. And Yamal should have been in 5th spot, upgrade from last season where he finished 8th spot, I think. But obviously, it's a lot of PR when it comes to these awards. 620 points for Rafinha, who had an absolutely monstrous season, 60 plus GA in all competitions. The second most GA of all time in the UEFA Champions League, only behind Ronaldo. Yes, Rafinha played more games. Yes, it's different system. It's 8 group stage games, which means 2 additional easier games than back in the day when it was only 6 group stage games. But Rafinha had a wonderful season and should have deserved more flowers. In number 4 spot, Mohamed Salah, and that's the player I think Rafinha and Hakimi should have both been above. Mohamed Salah racked up, I think, 47 GA in the Premier League alone, which is absolutely insane. But when it comes to these awards, when it comes to how I rate the best out of the best, it's all about your impact in big games. And Mohamed Salah wasn't just bad, he was absolutely woeful in the 2 legs against Paris Saint-Germain, woeful in the Carabao Cup final, and woeful in the Community Shield versus Crystal Palace. And when it comes to the big players, it's all about performing in the big games. For example, Ousmane Dembele. Yes, he got a lot of GA against the relegation battling teams in Ligue 1. He got a lot of GA against the mid-table teams, and he got a lot of GA against the top teams in Ligue 1, and he got a lot of GA against the easy teams and the big teams in the UCL. And I think that's what a consistent, impactful player does. He's great in big and small games, whilst Mohamed Salah, it was quite clear he could only do it in the smaller games in the Premier League. So I think both Rafinha and Hakimi deserves to be ahead of Salah. But yeah, moving on to third spot. As you can see, the points distance between these players are not that much. But Rafinha with 620, Mohamed Salah with 657, and Vitinha, who came in third spot with 703 points. All of them not that far distance. Vitinha had a wonderful season last season, winning everything with Paris Saint-Germain, reaching the Club World Cup final, and obviously winning the Nations League final versus Spain. And Vitinha was very influential. He picked up the most man of the matches for Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League last season. 3, even 1 more than Ousmane Dembele. So yeah, I've seen a lot of people being triggered by Vitinha's spot and him becoming third. First of all, was the shocking reaction. I mean, if you looked at the bookmakers and the voting and everything, Vitinha was always there in the top 5, top 3 when he came to the Ballon d'Or. So I don't know why so many people were shocked. I mean, are you just not following what's going on, or are you just emotional? But I think Vitinha had a really great season. Obviously, he was the only Paris Saint-Germain player that was nominated for the Ballon d'Or last season. So it's great to see him in both lists. And now we come to the top 2. Lamine Yamal finished with 1,059 points. Huge gap between him and Vitinha. Lamine Yamal had a very great season last season. You know, only 18 years of age, picking up where he left off in the previous season, being big for Barca in the El Clásicos, in La Liga, and obviously, most notably in the UEFA Champions League. But I do think his season got a little bit overrated because of the Inter Milan ties. I mean, if you look before the Inter Milan tie, Yamal wasn't even in the contention for the Ballon d'Or. He was maybe top 5, top 6, and it was Rafinha and Dembele competing for it after Salah went out versus Paris Saint-Germain. But then Yamal came out of nowhere, and that just shows what the voters rate. They rate the big performances in the semi-final and all of that. And obviously, Lamine Yamal, with him being only 18 years of age, is going to add so much PR into it. I saw the same thing with Desiree Doué. I saw the same thing with Jude Bellingham as well. When a youngster does something, the voters just get, oh my God, he's so good. But yeah, really great season for Lamine Yamal last season. And lastly but not least, Ousmane Dembele with 1,380 points. It's a huge gap between Ousmane Dembele and Lamine Yamal at the top. At the top of the thingy. Ousmane Dembele having a lot of points here. What is that? Around more than 300 points difference. And we did know this. The editor and chief executive of France Football came out earlier saying that Dembele won it with a huge gap over Lamine Yamal. And as you can see, it is a huge gap. There have been bigger gaps though. We'll take a look at that. For example, Karim Benzema, Ballon d'Or 2022. I think Karim Benzema had a huge gap over the rest. Why? 549. They must have done the points thing different because it's way less points when it comes here. But as you can see, Karim Benzema with a huge gap over Sadio Mane. Then you can see Sadio Mane, Kevin De Bruyne, and Robert Lewandowski all close to each other. If you look at 2023, well, Lionel Messi won it over Erling Braut Haaland, 462 to 357. So Ousmane Dembele's Ballon d'Or. Again, it's only 100 points here, but they're doing it in another point system now. So I would say basically the same gap as Messi when he won over Haaland 2024. When Rodri won it, was actually extremely tight, 1,170. So this was a way more unanimous Ballon d'Or victory than Rodri. I also remember 2019 was extremely tight between Messi and Van Dijk. Only 7 points between the two players. And now we come back to this beautiful picture. Ousmane Dembele didn't just win the Ballon d'Or. He was the unanimous Ballon d'Or winner according to the voters. And he's deserved a Ballon d'Or winner. There were a lot of people I saw circulating around a fake points thingy where it was only 1 point difference between Ousmane Dembele and Lamine Yamal, which is, I mean, it just shows, I mean, a lot of people think that's funny or something. I just think it's, wow. Okay. If that's your sense of humor, then I feel for you. But Ousmane Dembele won it. Very happy with this. And I also love that gap because as we saw, Rodri won the Ballon d'Or and then Vinicius won FIFA the best. Why? Because it was so close between them. And it's obviously different people that vote for FIFA the best. It's coaches and I think captains of national teams. Whilst for the Ballon d'Or, it's one journalist from like 150 different countries. So what this gives me even more confidence that Ousmane Dembele will win FIFA the best as well, which will be held in December later this year. But great to see this from Ousmane Dembele winning the Ballon d'Or and with a huge gap over Lmaine Yamal. When you look at all the other points, it is what it is. That's been it from boy PSG. And hopefully guys have enjoyed this video. And as usual, allez Paris.